Alright, so I want to start with something simple, something easy that you all recognize as the sky. It's just clouds, and you look up, you see it every day, but you don't really consider it. And my thoughts about the clouds are, what if I were to take this into another space? I could definitely change space into a completely new space and transform an area into a new experience, and that's what I've been experiencing most with my art lately. So the first thing you're going to see is the Parish Project. I showed in this hallway for about a month straight, sorry, a year straight, thanks to Jim Stevens. So as you can see, it's the same footage, just a little bit more condensed. So then I was looking at this, and it's helped me progress as an artist to the next point. This is something I did in school, actually. This is an excerpt from 9 Mile Prairie, which is the only remaining prairie land near Lincoln, I think maybe in Nebraska. But it's made up of a grid with a video being projected on top of it, and the video being projected is actually just every little piece of the grid as a frame. So next you're going to see it as a still image. So you can't really see it from out there very well, but every single one of these is just a high contrast image of prairie grass. So you just see little bits of blades of grass here and there, but it ends up making a pattern which is almost indistinguishable, which when you see the footage for the video that was projected, coming up next, it creates like an ambiguous motion, which I found to be very fascinating. So I found that my practice ended up being more about art, to make more art, and recycling things and adding things together to make new pieces. So this is the original from what you were seeing, all of these still frames from the stop motion video. The next thing I'm going to show is a little bit more comical. I got really sick of seeing Osama bin Laden's face all over the news, so my response was, for my monthly show, what I would do is I would just show his face, because we can't beat him and join him. So I projected his face down this huge hallway, so as people walk through Parish Project on First Friday, they saw Osama bin Laden, probably for the 20th, 30th time of the day. But the way they saw him this time was projected through crystals over the eyes, which turned his eyes into all these rainbows all over the place, which made the image a little bit more exciting, a little bit more glossed over, which kind of my response to the media. Alright, that was a little funny. I was going to get a little bit creepy, a little more awkward. I was going through a dark point in my life starting here. This is a piece of plastic hanging in the middle of a room with just a nodding head, and it's an installation with a room with just little people, and you look at the people, and you see this floating head in this giant dark room just nodding at you. So I was like, well, what can I do next? Well, let's experiment stuff like this. So this is a baby doll's head, which I stuck in a freezer. That got really cold. When I pulled it out, it started condensing, so it looks like it's sweating. And I projected onto it footage of a factory farm of chickens getting their throats slit. And it's a little creepy, but it's more about trying to return to innocence and realizing that I do eat meat. I wish I didn't eat meat. I'm sorry. And it's all messed up, but I ended up turning it into this video piece, which is a 2D piece, which I showed at Feast of the Most Precious, which is at Club Blue, which is a really cool thing that some grad students put on that I was invited to take part in. So I was like, what's the next step here? All right, I could make out in front of a projector of a really gruesome movie for an hour and a half with a girl. So then I did that to the film, the Cannibal Holocaust. And it's been banned in almost every country, and it's really brutal. The funny thing is we're staying in this room with the door closed with other people, and all you hear is people saying, there's people making out in there, not, what is this film? This is disgusting. So that was really funny. So that led me to another line of thinking, which is, all right, I can use digital projections in performances. So this is a behind-the-scenes view of another performance I did shortly before the one you just saw. I was experimenting this time with slow motion and also breaking up the frame so I could perform in front of a scene and not have to break up the projection. So as I'll show you in a second, which I probably don't even need to, I'll show you anyway, it's possible to do this. And you're not missing any information, so that's pretty cool. So that led to some further experiments. Alright, I don't even know what's next. Alright, so this is slow motion. This is Imogen Heap's Hide and Seek. I took the video, turned it into a 20-minute version, and slowed the audio way down. I did a bunch of effects. This is a very small snippet of a 20-minute video. But I'm showing this because I started getting really attached to all these, like, the ephemerality and just, like, all the attention paid to all the body parts and everything individualized, and they're turning into shapes instead of an entire face. Which is in this next piece, which is called Family Portrait Modern Meat. And it's me and another artist, and it's 50% opacity with our faces on top of each other. So things start blending, and it's kind of about defining a relationship, but also defining who you are versus another person, finding boundaries. And this is a projection that I ended up using for a performance piece, which is about 3 minutes long, which I'll now see a short snippet of. So this is a bunch of sheets of plastic hanging in a gallery setting. And I just cut through them until at the very end you just see 1 or 2 body parts on each one, or parts of the face. And then at the end of that I tear all the sheets down. This next clip is another one that I don't really need to talk about. I just want to see it on this big screen. Thanks for letting me check it out on YouTube. Thanks for that opportunity. I always wanted to do that. Okay, so that brings me to the next point. I actually do this. I do this for bands all the time, but I want to show you my biggest canvas I ever used. I was going to do video for the show as a rainbow projections on him while he was playing at Dundee, except for I ended up being stuck in a penthouse way down the street because they ran out of room. So then I just decided I'd project colors all over the crowds of people, and you can see it reflecting off the streetlights, and it's kind of hard seeing this image, but it's just another way that I found doing projection art, you really have to perform in the space, and you really have to adhere to basically flying by the seat of your pants, sorry. This is Icky Blossom's actually on this stage. This is kind of cool because you can see the lighting rig and then lighting rigs and the lighting. Anyway, so that's what I kind of do now is do live projections for bands. Icky Blossom's is out recording in California. I'm stoked for them to get back because those are always really good show opportunities. Darren King is the one that kind of introduced me to this whole idea. So this is one of my last two slides. This is one of two videos that I did for Bad Speller, which is one of Darren's bands. And for 52 weeks this year, every single week, at the illegalart.net, we are releasing a song that he's putting out and a video that I'm doing to accompany it. So for once a week, we're uploading these. They get released on Thursdays. And here's the last one that you're going to see. And if you want to see more work like this, just come out here next Tuesday. Yacht is playing and the Bad Speller is opening. I'll be doing video like this all night long. And once again, thanks for coming out. Thank you, Bass God.